Hey there everyone, we're going to continue working on some more complex forms in two-point perspective. Now last time in the video, let's not look at this one, I showed you how to kind of create stacking and forms that kind of are going through other forms. What I want to do today is we've been kind of focusing on very angular, rectangles and all of that forms. We're going to work on something more cylindrical. So here you see I kind of created it's more of an oval, but it's a curved cylindrical type form. And we're gonna have it kind of popping out. I would do it on this one, but I went so dark on this, I kind of started from scratch with a new one. But what I did was I did the basic steps of creating kind of this form coming out of another form, okay? So if you forgot those steps, you could always go back to the other video. What I wanted to explain to you all though is we have to kind of understand that an oval or circle lives inside of a rectangle or a square. You're not just going to go to freehand a circle or an oval. So because of that, I'm going to show it to you kind of in a flat land. So we've got our square here. To find kind of the center point of each side is what you're going to need to do to create a circle or an oval. To do that, I draw diagonal lines from opposite corners. Draw nice and light because it's going to get erased. I draw dark so it shows up on the video. Now there's the center of it. That center is going to correspond to the top and bottom and left and right. So make sure you're holding your ruler straight, just like when we do cutoffs. Our vertical line should be nice and vertical. If you try and do something like this, you're not going to be really getting the center point of the sides. So I line it up to the center of that, and I just make a little tick mark. I'm making a big tick mark again so you all can see it. Line it up to the center, making sure it's nice and horizontal, and I make my tick marks. Now these are the points that are kind of farthest out on your circle. So understanding that, then you start to draw, and I'm going to sketch it. It's never going to be a perfect circle, but kind of sketching it out is going to be the way to go. And then you can always go back in and refine it. But for the most part, I'm kind of getting that circle that lives inside of this square, or it's probably more like an oval that's living inside of, oh, that's not that good. Hold on. Obviously, I would go back in and fix it, but I'm not going to because this was just me showing you the steps to create a circle inside of, or an oval inside of a square or a rectangle. Now we're going to do it in two-point perspective, which adds a whole new kind of step or a few steps. So like I said, we already have this form coming out of a form. This is the side I'm going to have it coming out of. I'm going to do the same trick. I'm going to do the crisscross to find the center point. Now the center point you can't measure. Like in something like this, I could technically measure, okay, this is this much, then that should be the same. But because as it's approaching the vanishing point, it's getting smaller, it's not going to be equidistant, okay? So, oops, I like this side of the ruler better. That metal side never works for me in my mechanical pencil. I'm going to draw rather light, or you should all draw rather light. Crisscross. That's the center. Now I'm going to do my cutoff. The vertical cutoff in this case is easy because again, you always kind of work with the same side. This goes straight up and down. Find it. There's a center. Tick, tick. Now for this center, it's a little more complicated. It's not horizontal because these tops and bottoms are not horizontal. They're going back to the vanishing point. So just like this then has to meet up at the vanishing point. Okay, that the vanishing points are your number one rule in creating any perspective drawing. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to that. So now I've got my kind of center points on each of these edges. And actually this probably, now that I think about it, since it's vertical, should be, you could technically measure, but who wants to measure? We got a vanishing point. Now I draw, best you can, your circle or oval. And it's going to be distorted. That's the point. You can't draw a perfect circle, or whatever you want to call that, as perfect as you can, for this assignment or for 2-point perspective, because we're living in an angled world. You're not seeing it head on. You're seeing it at an angle. So the circle or oval has to also be at an angle. And then you go in and erase all this. And guess what? Don't need, this was like I said, it lives inside. I'm probably gonna wind up darkening my oval again because all of my erasing is just taking up a lot. All of this no longer exists. It was kind of just like a holder, a placeholder for where it was going to live. Okay, not getting it all erased, but we're getting enough, hopefully, so you get the idea. So now I'll go back, get my angled circle back to life. And we use the same rule as we had done in 1-point perspective when using kind of shapes that don't have angles or hard edges. You find the furthest most point on the curve in relation to the vanishing point. So I line up to my vanishing point. Now, if I draw here, it would go through my circle. So I keep moving it, keep moving it, keep moving it, making sure it's lined up to that vanishing point until you just can see that edge. And that is where you're going to draw. I'm going right to where that end was, okay? Here, just to the edge. If I do this, it's gonna cut through. Just to the edge. Oh, and actually, I want to do one of these. I want to have it go through to here. Did it light there though, because I know I want to erase it, but I just want to show you. And let's go back over here. Oh, well then, don't move your ruler, guys. Let's try that again. Okay. So now, where this is kind of meeting up here, now we're going to, actually it should be more. Mirroring, remember your cutoffs are parallel. So where this point, I should have kept those points here. It should kind of be touching right there, right here. Oops, not right there. Where's the center point? I can't find, oh, I guess it was right there. Okay. There we go. So now we have a kind of this opened, not opened, curved piece where it's kind of coming out from there. And then if you want to have it extend a little bit out here, again, you follow the way the line is getting cut as best you can. I know curves are a little difficult. Kind of follow that curve. And then you would erase. And now we have this cylindrical shape, which I can darken these edges a little bit now. Again, even when you're darkening, just double check and make sure it's going to the vanishing point. You never want to start kind of darkening your edges until you know for certain you are doing it correctly. There we are. And we have, oh, and let me fix this guy here because we erased that in our erasing frenzy. Again, this, make sure it's lining up to the vanishing point so you don't make any kind of mistakes. It's like a double check. There we go. So, ooh, moving my paper when I'm trying to get dust off. we've got a cylinder coming out of a rectangular prism. Guys, try this out. Good luck.